condemning the killing of the farmers. In fact, they've got the slogan, the ANC government, the ANC regime, that's having a slogan on their manifesto or something that before 1994, in which they said they've got the song "Kill a boer, kill a farmer," and they don't want to do away with that. That is their ideology. They want to kill all the farmers in South Africa.
So they want to kill the farmers, and then then the land just goes to nothing because no one wants to work the land, and the African doesn't want to work. A majority of Africans don't want to work the land, so your country will just starve in the end. That's just exactly what's going to happen to South Africa. Will just starve, and it will have to depend on importing in food.
That's correct. You know what's going to happen. We're going to follow the same route as Zimbabwe before 1994. You see what happened with Zimbabwe now. Zimbabwe is nothing. They don't have an economy now. Their interest now. The inflation is very, very, very high. You can take a wheelbarrow now, put in money in the wheelbarrow. You can't even buy properly food.
So they're going into hyperinflationary territory.
That's correct. And South Africa is heading towards the same path because of this communist ideology of the South African ANC government. And currently, they're not a majority anymore. But you know what? They are now they aligned with the Iran regime as well as other communist regimes. But they mess up everything in South Africa.
It's really sad to see what's happening, but I do have some good news. I know that in Portuguese Africa and Mozambique, they have been taking in a lot of white farmers and giving them land in Portuguese Africa and Mozambique. They've given lots of land to white farmers from South Africa that have arrived there.
I follow that. I saw that. But you see, it's the ideology of the communism. There's a lot of communism influence in South Africa, and that, you know what, we must do away with communism. Communism never worked across the whole world. Never.
Never. No, never. And a lot of Europeans fled Europe because of communist or going anti-Christian or anti-this or going into Maoism and Stalinism and all kinds of weird shit. And a lot of people fled to South Africa, fleeing this persecution, and to build a new strong country together. And then now the people are brainwashed into this communist new dictator rule to take back land they got nothing to do with. What are they going to do? They take back the land and then what? They starve.
That's correct. Yeah. You must understand, we've got a farming community of only 35,000 farmers now.
So you got 35,000 farmers left.
For a population of 62 million.
Okay, you got 62 million people.
35,000 farmers left there.
So 62 million people population, you got 32,000 white farmers left.
That's correct. But now you see what's happening now. They've got this racist thing. In the government of South Africa, they've got more than 145 race-based laws now that is discriminating against the minority population. They want to exterminate the white population of South Africa. That is what the ideology is.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid to go shopping in a city? Are you afraid to go out and do business or go to a bank or do commerce? Are you afraid to do things like when you go into cities, being a white person?
Most of the white people now are afraid to go. They go to safe places, like safe shopping malls. They don't even want to go to towns where it's not safe because they are getting robbed, killed. It's not only the farmers, it's white South Africans that are also being killed. Not only farms, but in the public. They shoot and kill the people. They're not afraid. They don't worry. There's lawlessness in South Africa. That is the biggest problem.
So what are they expecting to achieve from doing what they're doing exactly? Like what are these governing governments promising them in the end if they kill the whitey? What are they promising them? What's going to happen?
you know what? They want to promulgate the Land Expropriation Act, that they want to seize farms, they want to seize the white people's property. This expropriation bill that they put through in 2025, it is therefore they want to take away people's property. Understand? That can be a business, that can be a farm, that can be a plot, residential area, it can be the rural areas. What they do is they want to do that because of the votes. They want to stay in power. They want to stay in power. Now they come with this legislation telling the people they're going to expropriate people's property. Understand? Right. So they can take it and give it to the majority.
But the majority can. Okay, it's like here in Canada. Let me explain to you what's happening here in the country I'm in, Canada. So they're getting rid of the European expansion here too. They're getting rid of the white people, the Europeans. We're getting phased out, or we're getting deported, or we're getting pushed out, or we're being offered assisted suicide. Okay, now through the government. Now, what's going to happen in Canada is going to be the same thing like South Africa, and the same thing like when the Portuguese left Angola. Same thing when the Portuguese left Mozambique. Exactly. Everything falls apart. There's no one to maintain. The Pakistani, the Indians, the Chinese that come here to Canada, they don't build anything. They don't fix anything. They don't repair anything. They don't contribute to anything to build society. So when the roads break, the buildings fall apart, there's no one there to fix it anymore. And that's what's going to happen too in Canada. Canada is a little bit... It's doing it differently. They're doing it through assisted suicide here, where you go and you can't afford to buy food, or you're homeless, or you're depressed. They offer you suicide in Canada, right? And yeah, so it's getting really bad. And now what they're openly doing in South Africa is I don't even know how. No other country with bigger authority has stepped in, but I know. Mozambique, for the last 5 years, they've been taking in, Portuguese Africa has been taking in people from South Africa. They've been bringing them in. They've already brought in 6,000 people from South Africa to work, and they're giving them land in Mozambique. Here, how much acreage do you need? What do you grow? What can you help us with? So they're getting something in Mozambique. So from where you are, it's probably what, 3 days drive to Portuguese Africa?
No, it's only it's from my place where I'm staying. I'm staying in Mpumalanga now. Okay. From where I'm staying, it's only 600 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
It's only 6 hours drive, and then you're in Mozambique.
Oh, you could be in Portuguese Africa within a day, right?
Yeah, within a day. Then you can be in Maputo, and then you can be you can travel quite some distance inside of Mozambique. But you know what? Mozambique was also there was a lot of civil war there. The faction fights there was also a big problem for Mozambique.
Yep,
so currently they've got this. They've got the Islamists now also try to infiltrate Mozambique.
They're being deported
in the northern parts of Mozambique.
They're being completely deported. Yeah. I checked the news 2 weeks ago, but I followed the news there very closely. They're deporting all the Muslims. They're burning mosques. And they're deporting Muslims from Mozambique. They're getting rid of all of them.
They must do it. You know what? Islam is a very dangerous religion.
Yep.
And the influence in South Africa is quite big, because the South African government, as I told you, is aligned with Iran. And I think Iran is supporting them financially to stay in power, to give money for the elections and to pay for the ANC political party, understand?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things going on in South Africa. The Islamist drive in South Africa is quite big, but we as the minority population, we're not afraid, you understand, Mike? We fought a lot of wars in South Africa, a lot of wars to defend our country, but we don't want to go that path. But we are a minority, and the world doesn't want to see what's going on. And when you start pushing the minorities, exterminating the minorities, taking away their rights. We don't have any rights in South Africa, Mike, nothing. we've got the Constitution now, but the Constitution means nothing, 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 nothing. We've got, as I told you, 145 race-based laws against the minority population of South Africa.
That's really scary. It's really heartbreaking to hear this. It's really.
Where do you see in the world? Where do you see in the world that the majority government having racist laws against the minority? This is the same like, you know what, Rwanda, if you can remember Rwanda. Was this genocide there. They killed more than 800,000 people. And this Julius Malema jumping up and down, kill a boer, kill a farmer, inciting violence. He's actually telling his people, his followers, to kill the whites. That kill the boer, kill a farmer now is a slogan, kill the whites.
Well, it's like the Quran. The Quran says kill the non-believers, right?
Yes, the Quran is also exactly the same. They against Christians. And in their country, if you are a Christian, an Orthodox Christian or Christian, a believer, and you believe in God, they kill you because you believe in God.
Wow, that's intense, man. This is really. Where are you right now? Are you home? Are you working? Are you outside?
I'm working. I'm on the road. I'm escorting vehicles. You see, we've got a high crime rate in South Africa also. Lots of hijackings, cash in transit incidents where they blow up vehicles that's transporting cash. If you follow the news in South Africa, our crime is most highest in the world. We've got only a population of 62 million people now, but we've got the highest crime in the world. And the people, you know what? The other countries, they don't actually, the people don't want to come to South Africa because of this crime rate.
It's really, really sad. Really sad. And I know a lot of South Africans have migrated to Southwest Africa to Angola. And I know a lot of them went up to Angola too, because I watch the Portuguese news in Africa myself, right? And there's lots of South Africans moving east and west along the coast there. Escaping South Africa. I just now hearing it from you, and the people listening to the show right now hearing it from you understand. Now we truly heard it from someone on the ground there how bad South Africa is, and I'm afraid, my friend, that Canada is going to be like that too. In about 5 to 10 years, they're going to be discriminating against Europeans here, right? And Christians, they're already after
Mike,
the Christians.
If your people in Canada is not going to stand up now and fight for your rights now, at this moment you are a majority there. But if you're not going to stand up for your rights now, protecting your country now, you will fall like South Africa. But the problem is, in 1994, the world pushes for a democratic state, now, so that everybody must be treated equally. Now, it must be fairness in South Africa. Now, we actually handed over our whole government to the Africans, now, to the majority, now, by means of a vote. We know that they're going to vote us out because we are in a minority. We are only a few million people. I don't even think we are more than 4 million whites. That's including the colors and the Khoisan, huh? But we are in the minority, and we knew that if we're going to hand over the government, things will happen. And you see, after 1994, things was going well under Mandela's rule. President Mandela, he said, his words were, there must be equality in South Africa. But then things changed when the next president, President Thabo Mbeki, took over. Now, he said there must be radical transformation, meaning that they must take over the whole government by means of pushing out the whites, the coloreds, Indians, pushing them out of the government system to take over all control out of the government. And now currently, now, there's so much corruption in South Africa now. They can't even maintain the roads. They can't maintain the schools are dilapidated. Our police stations, you must see the police stations in what condition the police stations are. They don't care. They only care about corruption, stealing money. You know what? How many millions and millions of rands were stolen since 1994? More than 1 trillion rand that was stolen since the ANC took over in South Africa.
Oh, that's a lot of cake.
You can imagine 1 trillion rand. It's a lot of money. How many schools could have been built? How many roads could have been built? The whole infrastructure is collapsing under the ANC government.
Wow. Wow.
Really?
I'm speechless, brother. I'm absolutely speechless. And I remember back during the Nelson Mandela administration, he would go visit Catholic churches. He would go visit hospitals. He would go visit, do his public service duty as a fair man. And now it's like, holy shit.
President Mandela, Martin, as I can explain to your audience, President Mandela said, listen, let us stop this fighting between the whites, between the Africans. Let us get a real democratic state where everybody is equal in terms of the law. But you know what? They don't care about Mandela's vision that he did have, his mission that he did have, that South Africa must follow the right path. The path of not destruction, but the communist ANC, which you know what happens now, They think because they are part of BRICS, they think they are controlling the southern hemisphere, together with China, together with Russia, together with all Brazil, together with all those big communist countries. Now South Africa wants to influence the world. But you know what? With their ideology, will any whites from overseas, from Europe or any other country, do you think they will come to South Africa, say, listen, they want to come and stay in South Africa because they want to bring their business to South Africa,
no,
so
they
that
won't.
they can also make a living here in South Africa? Do you think other white people from across the world will come to South Africa under these circumstances?
Nope, they won't. Nope. Once you get nope, they won't. Nobody will invest a dime. Nobody will go in there. You'll have the Chinese are going into Africa and then they're opening mines. But when the Chinese open and take over mines in Africa, they bring their own Chinese people to work. They don't bring Africans to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why Angola's trying to kick out all the Chinese now. They want these racists out of there because they open mines. They treat the people from Angola like garbage. They don't learn how to speak Portuguese when they're there, and they're racists. And then we brought up the newscasts already on our show, telling we want these people out of our country because they're bringing in their own people to work in the mines, and the people that live there don't get any of the wealth. That's disgusting too.
That's disgusting, really. And you know what? I've got a lot of Portuguese friends in South Africa. Now, even in my own town, there's a Portuguese. He's having a Pick and Pay shopping franchise. His name is Celso. He's having also a property in Portugal. He stays in South Africa. Even he said, you know what? Okay, I won't use those words now, but the Africans, they've got their own rule of law. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They don't abide to laws, whatever. The same like now, the constitution is there in South Africa. All the people must be treated equally. But you know what did they do? They said, no, there's a fine print in the constitution. We can't discriminate against the minorities in South Africa. How in the world can you bypass a constitution? A constitution that's supposed to be where all people must be treated equally.
Right. By the people, for the people.
Yeah. You know how we as minorities feel. We built this country. Since we arrived in this country, since Jan van Riebeeck arrived here, since Vasco da Gama put foot on African soil, we built the South African country what it was before 1994.
everything was working, except we did have separate, what you call it, toilets. We got separate hospitals. We got separate everything. Nah. But you know what? We built schools for the Africans. We built, they did have their own police stations. They did have the homelands because they've got like tribes in South Africa. Nah? There's more than 11 tribes in South Africa. So we, as the previous government see to it that they built schools for them there. They built hospitals for them there. They built police stations for them. They did have their own municipals there to function, to do their own governing there, etc. Nah. But you know what? Now since 1994, everything I said we must share now. But you must see the condition in which the hospitals are. When the whites go there, they lie there for hours in the hospital before they get treatment. They treat you as if you are an animal. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Then the police stations, when you go to a police station, you're in a minority, you want to lay a charge there. They look you up and down as if you are coming from another planet. You understand that type of attitude
Yes.
they've got?
They look
Because
at you
we
like
are a majority, you are a minority, and they treat you as if you are a second-class citizen in this country.
Well, in Canada, that's how a lot of the whites and Europeans that built this country are being treated. We get treated like that everywhere we go here. It's pretty bad. Like, it's really, really, really bad where things have gotten so far out of hand. And the police, you call the police don't do anything. They're yeah, they use the form forming an opinion. Oh, this guy did this to me, or he's hurting me, he's damaging this, that. Oh no, this man is forming an opinion, leave him alone. It's like it's getting really bad up here too. And because here in Canada, see, I'll tell you how we're getting double whammied here in Canada, like double hit, is they're subsidizing wages for people from India that don't qualify for the job, but now employers are getting government money from our taxes to pay these people while the Canadian people stay home and homeless.
You know what's going to happen. You're going to end up really. Your audience must listen to me. We are now through this process for 30 years in South Africa now. Canada is going to end up the same like South Africa, where they push the whites out. You won't have jobs. You won't have. You can't make a decent living because of. They've got the law in South Africa now that say if you don't have BEE now, you can't do business with government. And you know, government they've got the monopoly. There's a lot of business that you can do with government. But currently, even in South Africa now, when you do have a BEE now, 30%. Let me explain to you now. The people that's having a BEE with Eskom. Eskom is a government power utility in South Africa now. That's providing electricity to the citizens. Now, now if you are a middleman, you are BEE. You've got the mine, you've got the BEE person in between, and then you've got the Eskom. Now, Eskom don't want to buy coal from the mine if there's not a BEE partner or BEE person. Huh? Oh. Now, the BEE person in South Africa now is getting at least 30%. Getting into his pocket without doing anything because he's just a middleman. So the BE person buy the coal from the mine, and then that BE person is selling it to Eskom again. You understand? So there's only a few elite in South Africa now that's getting rich, and the people of South Africa, the majority Africans in South Africa now is suffering because of this system of BE. You know what? They create this BE law in South Africa just to steal from the minority businesses in South Africa. You understand? They want to have shares in a company without putting any cent into the company. And that is now creating lots of problems in South Africa. All the people in South Africa must pay 30%. With the high rates now for electricity in South Africa, they must pay 30% on top of that, just because there's a BE person in between buying a coal from the mine to the state entity. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
BE is killing our economy because there's only a few people that's getting in rich in South Africa now, getting all the money. But now the poor are suffering. They don't have work. There's no food. The economy is collapsing. Actually, we don't have a growth rate of about which we did have before 1994. In the 1975, we did have a growth rate of about 7.58%. No? We were a very strong economy. We did not have things in place that is hindrance for overseas companies to come and invest in South Africa. You understand? This was not that this be nonsense and this shit. So now, which company, overseas company, will come to South Africa, put in all their money into South Africa, opening a factory, but now they must give 30% just for a person to because it must be African. That's a partner that must get shares of 30% from this company, and he didn't put even R1 into this company. Nobody will do that, Mike.
Yep. No. Well, of course not. This is a really, really, really South Africa. The whole world, Ben, is going through a really tough time. Like, we're all going through something, and we're seeing the patterns, right? South Africa is 15 years ahead of Canada right now, right? So
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
Canada's going to catch up. Australia's doing the same shit. So is New Zealand. So is like the English Commonwealth countries are doing the same thing. England, London's been taken over by Muslims. They're eradicating white man from the earth, and the people that built the infrastructure, the people that laid the groundwork, the people that brought the sanitation, the running water, electricity, they're getting rid of the people that basically built a possible future for everybody, and then now they're being removed from the equation. Any other words? Any last words, Ben? We'll get you back on in a couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. We'll get you back on to update us. So this is Ben from South Africa. Is there anything else you want to leave us with here on the show?
Mike, what I can just tell the people from overseas now, please, this rainbow nonsense, it's not working.
That's right.
You know what? Europeans, they look at South Africa, say, listen, yes, there was a government, there was a friendly handover. There was a new government taking shape in South Africa. You know what happens now? The world look at South Africa, say, hey, that's a rainbow nation. It's not working anymore, Mike. This rainbow nation is gone.
Yep.
Without, if you treat your citizens not equally, that is now, it doesn't matter what race that person is. Now, if there's no equality, where people are treated on an equal level, that, you know what? If that person's got the best qualifications, Mike, it doesn't matter what the color is. He can be black, he can be Indian, he can be white. If that person's got the best qualifications now and most suitable person for the job, then you employ that person, you take that person, because that is how your business is going to grow.
Of course.
But the moment you are forced by laws, nah,
equal hiring is a disaster. Equal hiring is a disaster.
Yeah. Now you must hire it because the government enforces you to hire a person now. And that person doesn't have the skills, he doesn't have the quality, nothing now. Your country is going to be ruined. And your listeners must listen to us. South Africa is going the wrong path. This ANC communist regime, it is a communist regime. You can go, your listeners can go, your audience can go and Google it up. They were aligned with the communist, all the communist countries in the world. They were aligned with them, and they still practice communism. But we've got a private sector now. But they are practicing communism ideology in a private sector. So this is devastating. It's killing South Africa, really. And for your audience, please, you must stand up. You must fight for your rights in Canada.
Okay, we will. Thank you, Ben, for being with us here on Mike and the Knights, and we'll get you back on in 3-4 weeks. Okay, brother?
And thanks for the opportunity. But really, I hope your people can pray for us that things must change.
We will.
If things is not going to change in South Africa, this country is going to be gone.
God bless you, Ben.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks for the time. Thanks very much.
So that's it. Canada's, what, 5, 10, 15 years behind in South Africa? They're blatantly disrespecting the people that built this country. They're blaming Whitey for everyone's problem here. And again, without the sanitation, without the running water, the highways, the schools, the stadiums, the libraries, the police state, without everything, we wouldn't have a country here today, right? So that was a great call from South Africa. Yeah, I'm going to start cold calling people that send me a lot of messages on Mike in the night.